Lesson 14.1, line plots. Before we begin, I want to talk about some vocabulary. And the word is outlier. And what I did is I drew it way up in the corner just to show you a little bit of an effect. This might help you explain what it is. An outlier is any number that is very different than the rest. So you can see in the chart, most of my chart is 50, 60, or 70. There's one way over here at 10. The number 10 would be, or the point 10 would be an outlier. All right, now let's do a little example here to show us what we're talking about. If I have the number of x's at each number tells you how many times that value occurred in the chart. So let's do that. If I have a number line, I want to plot number 35. So I would say that I did 35, and I'm going to put an x there. And then I go up and I do 40. So I place an x at 40. 50. X at 50. 35. Another x on 35. 85. Way over here. 45. Put an x down here. 60. Was there. Another one at 35. Another one at 50. And then, 3 in a row at 40. 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. Another one at 30. Well, first one at 30, sorry. Then another one at 40. And one at 45. So that's how I do this chart. I cross out each number and put an X for it down on the line. So you can see we just talked about the word outlier being any number that's very different. This number over here would be considered an outlier because it's very different than all the rest of the numbers. We see the 40 is listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So that tells us that 40 came up the most often in my data set or in my set of numbers. So let's look at one that's already been made and see if we can get some more information out of it. Below is a chart of the birthday months of each student in the class. So we look at the chart and we can see there's 2 in January. That means 2 kids in the class have January birthdays. There's 3 February, 1 March, 3 April, 5 May, 1 June, no July, 2 August, 2 September, 3 October, 2 November, and 3 December. We can tell how many kids are in the class by just counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So we know there are 27 kids in the class because there are 27 points on here. We can also say that the least number of kids have birthdays in July because there are no points there. We also could say the most number of kids have birthdays in May because we have 5 points here, which is more than any other month. Let's look at the guide to practice now. This is the chart from the guide to practice. And then there were 4 questions that I wanted to look at. The first one was, how many giraffes are 14 feet tall? So I go to 14 feet and I count 1, 2. So my answer for number 1 is 2. The second question was, which height was the most common among giraffes? Well, this has 2, this has 3, this has 2, 0, and 2. So this one's the most common. So my answer for number 2 was 15. Question 3 said, which is the tallest giraffe? Well, these 2 are 14 feet, these 3 were 15, these 2 were 16, and these 2 were 18. So the tallest giraffe would be 18 feet, and that's what I have down there. The last question was, are there any outliers? Well, let's think about it. Are there any outliers? An outlier being any number that is very different from the rest. Doesn't look like there's any that are very different, so my answer for that one would be no. I hope you understood some of the things we were talking about. We'll be doing more of this throughout the entire chapter. If you have any questions, please remember to ask, and have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow.